Dr. Elizabeth Hart was one of the most respected obstetricians in the city. She was known for her expertise in helping couples conceive, and many families owed their happiness to her. Be well to our channel. Sign up to always have our amazing stories. However, Elizabeth had a secret that only a few people knew: she was sterile. Despite numerous attempts at IVF treatments and other medical procedures, she was unable to conceive a child of her own. The only way she could satisfy her maternal instinct was by caring for her patients, whom she treated with utmost care and compassion. One day, a young man named David was brought to her clinic. He had been in an accident and was severely injured. Elizabeth immediately began attending to him, trying to save his life. As she worked, David suddenly spoke up, "My mother always wanted to meet you." Elizabeth paused for a moment, stunned. She couldn't understand why David's mother would want to meet her. However, before she could ask any questions, David's condition suddenly worsened. Elizabeth did everything she could to save him, but sadly, he passed away in her care. Elizabeth was devastated by David's death. She couldn't help but think about his mother, and why she would want to meet her. The thought tormented her, and she became obsessed with finding out the truth. Over the next few weeks, Elizabeth started to investigate David's background. She discovered that his mother, Rebecca, had been one of her patients many years ago. She had come to Elizabeth seeking help to conceive a child, but unfortunately, the treatments were unsuccessful. Despite this, Rebecca had always held Elizabeth in high regard, believing her to be a kind and compassionate doctor. Elizabeth was shocked by this revelation. She had no idea that Rebecca had felt this way about her. She began to wonder what would have happened if she had been able to help Rebecca conceive. Would David still be alive today? As Elizabeth thought more about David and Rebecca, she started to become increasingly paranoid. She began to question her own abilities as a doctor, wondering if she had failed Rebecca and other patients in the past. The pressure and anxiety became too much for her to handle, and she eventually had a breakdown. Elizabeth was hospitalized for several weeks, during which time she received intensive therapy and medication. Slowly but surely, she began to recover, and with the help of her therapist, she began to see things more clearly. She realized that she couldn't blame herself for things that were out of her control. She also began to understand that she had been projecting her own desires for motherhood onto her patients, and that she needed to find a way to deal with her own feelings of loss and grief. After being released from the hospital, Elizabeth decided to take a break from her practice. She spent several months traveling the world, trying to find peace and perspective. She met new people, experienced new cultures, and gradually began to heal. When she returned home, she decided to dedicate herself to helping other women who were struggling with infertility. She set up a support group, where women could come together and share their experiences. She also began working with adoption agencies, helping to find homes for children who needed loving families. Elizabeth realized that she may never be able to have children of her own, but she could still make a difference in the lives of others. She learned that sometimes, the greatest gift we can give is simply to be there for someone who needs us. In the end, Elizabeth found peace and happiness in helping others. She never forgot David or Rebecca, but she was able to put their memory to rest. She knew that she had done everything she could to save David's. Rebecca had always held her in high regard. She realized that she had been too hard on herself, and that she needed to forgive herself for things that were out of her control. As Elizabeth continued to work with her support group and adoption agencies, she met many women who were struggling with infertility, just as she had. She was able to use her own experiences to help these women, offering them guidance and support in their time of need. Elizabeth also began to explore other areas of medicine, taking on new challenges and learning new skills. She discovered that there was so much more to medicine than just helping couples conceive. She began working with cancer patients, helping them to cope with their illness and find hope in the midst of their struggle. Through all of her experiences, Elizabeth learned that life was full of unexpected twists and turns. She learned that sometimes, the greatest challenges in life could lead to the greatest rewards. She also learned that it was never too late to start over, to make a difference, and to find happiness in the midst of adversity. In the end, Elizabeth realized that being a doctor was not just about helping people have children. It was about helping people, period. She knew that she had a gift for caring for others, and she was determined to use that gift to make a positive impact in the world. And so, Elizabeth continued to work tirelessly, helping women and families to find the joy and happiness that they so desperately sought. She never forgot David, or Rebecca, or any of the other patients who had touched her life. She knew that they had all played a part in shaping the person she had become, and for that, she was grateful. Years went by, and Elizabeth grew older. She retired from her practice, but continued to volunteer with her support group and adoption agencies. She remained an inspiration to many, a symbol of hope and strength in the face of adversity. As she looked back on her life, Elizabeth realized that she had found her true purpose. She had discovered that being a doctor was not just a job, but a calling. She had helped to bring new life into the world, but more importantly, she had helped to heal the broken hearts of those who had struggled with infertility. And so, Elizabeth Hart's legacy lived on, as a testament to the power of compassion, resilience, and the human spirit.